I'm very privileged this morning to speak to a spectacular innovator in transformative food systems, a wonderful woman that I met about 12 months ago, Angeline Achariya. I'll let Angeline do a pretty good introduction herself of her skills and background. But one of the things I'm going to ask her to talk about this morning is a group called G100, which I'm fortunate to have just joined, all around food transformation and women's roles globally. Hi, Angeline. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, hello, Lisa.
Very good to see you. You grew up on your family's farm, yeah? What did that teach you growing up on a farm about the future of sustainable agri-food?
My childhood was really immersed in agriculture and food, probably long before I even knew the terms of agriculture and food. My parents used to ship us off to my grandparents' farms in Fiji. And they were such fun times, getting close to the land, experiencing farm life, waking up early, watching the farmers go off to plant and experiencing that. Lisa, it really taught me very early on, looking at the life of farmers, looking at the life of what agriculture is in terms of trying to get more from less, battling all those weather, pests, weeds. And then it got me curious to go, how do all of these ingredients end up making this thing called food and drinks? When I reflect back, probably ignited this passion to study food science and tech at uni and then have this amazing career in the agri-food system.
That's the point that I wanted to pursue now. 25 years experience in multinational giants such as J.R. Simplot, Angelines International, Yum Brands, Fonterra, and the Mars Corporation. My goodness, it's like a who's who of multinational food giants. And how did that work influence where you are now?
So my roles were really varied. I'm a food scientist and a technologist. That's what I studied. So I used to develop new foods for both animals, pets, as well as humans. So I can certainly translate across the two. I then worked myself, as you do, towards an R&D manager and then over to executive leadership, where my roles really were leading, strategically identifying new growth opportunities through innovation, commercialization, and across the enterprise. And I think one of the big things is whenever we talk innovation, firstly, we need to always define it. And I think innovation is not just the what of what it is that you are doing to create a market need and an opportunity, optimizing your business process, increasing productivity across a supply chain from farm through to customers to the consumers. It's actually also about bringing new business models and enhancing the innovation capability, unlocking that capacity with people, and also creating a culture and a mindset of innovation. I've also done a stint in a university as well, and I have to talk about that because it's important. It's like the other planet, if I call it, and it stemmed from my role where I co-founded the world's first industry collaboration hub known as Monash Food Innovation. It's a joint venture between Mondelez International as well as the Victorian State Government. And my role, Lisa, was I essentially got a blank sheet of paper that says, go forth and create a brighter future in the world of food manufacturing in the state of Victoria. And that was it. And then bring a collaborative approach with industry, research, government, and community to create this ecosystem. That center is now Monash Food Innovation at Monash Uni, and it's still running hot 11 years on.
I would call you a champion of sustainable food systems, but you are so much more than that in so many ways. Could you give us a short description of why sustainable food systems is the catch cry of the future?
When you look at our food system, we all need to eat, right? So I always look at the world always with endless possibilities. And we're sitting here today. We don't have a planet B, not yet. So
Yes.
For me, when I look at our planet, going back to my early farming influences, it has continued to feed us. And I think when you look here, there is something, the equation is not adding up. We can grow more food. We're wasting way too much food. Then we have parts of the planet that actually don't have food to eat. And so I think we need to come together, change the way that we're thinking. We have to work better together, and we have to solve for these big, hairy planetary challenges, because there's no way that if you're sitting in industry or you're sitting in research or you're sitting in government like yourself, we're going to do it ourselves and alone. So for me, sustainable food system is connecting the two and making sure, just as the word says sustainable, it's there for generations to come. Now we have to look at the implications of what's happening in energy and the implications to food, or how food needs to be generated.
Angeline, one of the boards that you're part of is the advisory board to CSIRO's Future Protein Mission. Can you tell us what that is, what the goal of that group is, and what your work is like on that board?
The reason I joined it is because of these big, hairy planetary challenges, Lisa, and we all need to be fed, and we all need to be fed nutritious and sustainable food, right? That's accessible for generations to come. So I have to say, when CSIRO kind of said, hey, Angeline, do you want to come and be part of this mission? First of all, I went, oh, wow, a mission-driven approach. What a fantastic way, because to me, that's truly about bringing the ecosystem voice, and who better than CSIRO to do it, to take the leadership, being the national voice of science and tech in our country, right? So, as populations and economies grow, the demand for protein in all forms is going to increase, right? We have to feed 10 billion mouths by 2050. And for me, it's about complementary. It's not about animal versus plant versus cell. We are going to need all sources of protein and more to feed a population. So the objective of the mission really is, how do they bring together industry, government, research, universities, with this ambition to value add another $10 billion worth of nutritious, high-quality protein in the food system. And we do that by leveraging the innovative science, the technology, and the commercialization pathways that this ecosystem will bring. And that's a goal that we've set ourselves by 2030. So time's ticking, right? And really my role there is to bring that voice of industry, of connecting, of coming together and really solving for that sustainable future protein supply.
Amazing work. I'm glad that we're in safe hands having women like you involved in this work. I wanted you to give a description of the G100 that I'm so excited to be part of. Tell me about, what's that? How did you get involved? What's the future?
And what an honor to be on the G100 and to have you as my advisory council as well, along with 4 other really inspiring women, Lisa. So G100 is a philanthropic community. It's really striving to empower gender parity across sectors. And I know, Lisa, we have the same view, because we ain't going to wait 100 years for this thing to happen, right? And not be around. I want to be around to see it as well. So being part of I guess we've created this wing under the leadership of Sharon Kitoni, who sits in Italy with her amazing global experience in agri-food. So the wing is really food systems, innovation and resilience. But essentially what we want to do is, how do we bring more diversity and inclusivity in the food system? I've grown up I attended 15 schools, would you believe, throughout my life, and, across many geographies. And I'd find myself as the only female sometimes, as the only culturally diverse brown female at that, right? And it's really shaped me into being this adaptable and resilient person. So what I do is I'm bringing collectively my own lived experience with the experience of women like yourself and others, to start to bring together the best and brightest women who are really boldly transforming our food system. If you're curious, go to LinkedIn, go to a group called G100 Food Systems Innovation and Resilience Wing.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Angeline, for doing that. So we're coming to the close. If I was able to grant you one superpower, Angeline, to help transform the food system right now, what would that be?
So, Lisa Baker, could you grant me the ability to inspire bolder action with pace, with agility, and the willingness to take some risk across our end-to-end agri-food system? That's all I want. Our role is to feed the world. Sometimes I think we forget that, right? We have to feed the world with more sustainable, accessible, nutritious and delicious food for generations to come.
Thank you, Angeline. Thank you so much for joining us. We could talk about food system transformation for a decade, and it would be too late then. We have to start doing things now. And I guess from listening to your message, that final message about the superpower that I've just granted you, That's about change and implementing change immediately, stimulating it, getting it going, and seeing real differences occurring. And I think we'll also see each other at the Food Frontiers conference that's coming up towards the end of the year. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lisa, and really enjoyed the conversation and so glad to be partnering with